All minds clear? Good.
We will have no other mighty ones
We will have no other mighty ones
against the Most High.
against the Most High.
We will not make any carved image
We will not make any carved image
or any likeness
or any likeness
of that which is in Shamayim above,
of that which is in Shamayim above,
or that which is in the earth beneath,
or that which is in the earth beneath,
or which is in the waters under the earth.
or which is in the waters under the earth.
We will not bow down to them,
We will not bow down to them,
nor serve them.
nor serve them.
For Yahuwah our El
For Yahuwah our El
is a jealous El,
is a jealous El,
visiting the wickedness
visiting the wickedness
of the fathers on the children,
of the fathers on the children,
to the third and fourth generation
to the third and fourth generation
of those that hate him,
of those that hate him,
but showing kindness
showing kindness
to thousands of those
thousands of
who
those
love him
who love him
and keep his commandments.
and keep his commandments.
We will not bring the name
We will not bring the name
of Yahuwah our El
of Yahuwah our El
in vain.
in vain.
For Yahuwah
For Yahuwah
will not leave us unpunished
will not leave us unpunished
who takes his name in vain.
who takes his name in vain.
We will remember the Shabbat day
We will remember the Shabbat day
to keep it Kodesh.
to keep it Kodesh.
6 days we will labor
6 days we will
and
labor
do all our work.
and do all our work.
But the seventh day
But the seventh day
is the Shabbat
is the Shabbat
of Yahuwah our El.
of Yahuwah our El.
For in 6 days
For in 6 days
Yahuwah made Shamayim
Yahuwah made Shamayim
and the earth
and the earth
and the sea
and the sea
and all that is in them,
and all that is in them,
and rested the seventh day.
and rested the seventh day.
Therefore Yahuwah blessed the Shabbat day.
Therefore Yahuwah blessed the Shabbat day.
We will respect our fathers
We will respect our fathers
and our mothers,
and our mothers,
so that our days are long
so that our days are long
upon the earth.
upon the earth.
We will not murder.
We will not murder.
We will not commit
We
adultery.
will not commit adultery.
We will not
We
steal.
will not steal.
We will not bear false witness
We will not bear false witness
against our neighbor.
against our neighbor.
We will not covet
We will not covet
anything that is our neighbor.
that is our neighbor's.
Father, y'all, we give thanks for this day, for this Shabbat, Father, a day to rest, Father, and relax, Father, and recuperate from a long week of labor, Father. We pray and ask, Father, that you would give utterance unto the speaker, Father, and understanding unto the hearer, so that we all may become doers, Father, of your word. We pray right now for wisdom and understanding, Father. We pray for those people who couldn't be here today, Father, because of the weather, Father. We pray and ask, Father, that you would continue to watch over them and allow them to receive the message, Father, via the internet, Father. We pray, Father, that you would just enlighten us all, Father, open up our minds and our hearts, Father, to receive according to your spirit. And all these things we pray and give thanks for Shem Yehovah, Rabbeinu, Yoshua, HaMashiach, Ruach HaKodesh, so be it.
So be it.
Go sit down.
Go sit down.
Go sit down. No, Nasi.
All right. You know, the last lessons I've been doing all like pertaining to the Messiah, right? And his different functions and the way everything really works when you when you go through the stories in the Bible, it'll make you understand prophecy that much better if you got this understanding. So last time we went through Moses with the prophet like unto Moses. So this week we're gonna go through Joseph, and we're gonna show you how Joseph's story actually foreshadows the Messiah. And then in some ways we can actually apply this to ourselves as well. So this is Joseph, the suffering Messiah. So start off at the usual joints. Let's get Psalms 40, and verse 7. Because again, we got all different types of Messiah types through the scripture. So we got Adam being the first man and getting dominion, and then the Messiah gonna get dominion. Then we jump up to Noah. Noah brought comfort. Then we jump to Abraham, father of many nations. Same as Mashiach. Then we go to Moses. We know there was no prophet greater than Moses except for Messiah. Then we got Joseph. Joshua, who has the same name. He was like the deliverer one. Then we got one that a lot of people don't know nothing about too much, is Gideon, which is like the warrior Messiah. Then we got David, King Messiah, and Solomon, peaceful Messiah. So today we're going to go into Joseph. So let's get that script.
The book of Psalms, chapter 40, and verse 7. Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book.
Do what?
I come in the volume of the book.
I come in the volume of the book. Read.
It is written of me.
So we letting you know again, as we always do, this book is written of him. It's the Father's book that's written of his Son. All right. Let's get Romans chapter 15, verse 3. Romans chapter 15 and verse 3.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 3. For even a Mashiach pleased not himself.
He did what?
Pleased not himself.
He pleased not himself. Read.
But as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproached you fell on me.
He did what?
The reproaches of them that reproached you fell on me.
Go ahead.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
For what?
For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
So the things that was written before was written for what?
Were written for our learning.
For what?
For our learning.
For our learning. So all of this stuff in the Old Testament, if you get understanding of this, it'll make you understand him and the plan much better. It'll be much more clear to you. Read.
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Might have hope. So we're going to see all of the things that Joseph went through to show you what he was going to go through. And the way that Joseph came from nothing and rose to be over everything. His story foreshadows and shows everything that Hamashiach was going to do. Well, not everything, but a section of it. Especially the suffering and rising part. Let's get Hosea 12 and 10.
The book of Hosea, chapter 12 and verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions, and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets.
So that's what we're going to go in and show you him and Joseph's similitudes. All of the things that they got in common and very, very similar. Let's get this last one. Revelations 19 and 10.
The book of Revelations, chapter 19 and verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said to me, see, you did it not. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua.
The what?
The testimony of Yahushua.
Read.
Worship Yah. For the testimony of Yahushua
For
is
what?
the testimony of Yahushua
So the testimony of the Messiah is what?
is the spirit of prophecy.
So again, when you understand his testimony, it's going to automatically give you a better understanding of prophecy. That's key. That's why when we go through Moses' story, you can see future things in the stories. Same with this. All right, so let's get to the story. Let's go to Genesis 39. We're actually going to pick it up before that. We're going to come back to Genesis 37 later. So Genesis 39, let's pick it up at verse 4.
The book of Genesis, chapter 39, verse 4. And Joseph found grace in his sight.
He did what?
Found grace in his sight.
Who is somebody else that found grace? Nobody? Noah found grace. Read. So it wasn't Noah. So Noah wasn't the only one. Read that.
And Joseph found grace in his sight and served him. And he made him overseer over his
He
house.
did what?
He made him overseer over his house.
Go ahead.
And all that he had, he put into his hands. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer of the house and overseer of all that he had, that Yah blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake.
For Joseph's sake. Read.
And the blessings of Yah was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hands.
So just like the Most High's house, Pharaoh is like the Most High in this 6 right here. He put everything into Joseph's hand. The Most High put everything in the Messiah's hand. Read.
And he knew not aught he had, except the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph.
So what's happening right here? His master's wife did what?
Cast her eyes upon Joseph.
Read.
And she said, lie with me.
Do what?
Lie with me.
So this is a married woman. So we got a married woman trying to seduce him. What type of woman would the Bible call her? A what? Harlot. Wow. Read.
But he refused.
He did what?
He refused.
He refused. Go ahead.
And said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wrought not what it is with me in the house.
All right. Read that again.
But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house.
Go ahead.
And he have not committed all that he had to my hand. And he hath committed all that he had to my hand. There was none greater in this house than I.
None greater in this house than I. So we coming back over here. Let's get Matthew chapter 4. So how does this pertain to the Messiah? Anybody? With this woman. How does it pertain to him with this woman right here? Let's get Matthew 4. And we'll pick it up at verse. Matter of fact, we'll pick it up at verse 1.
The book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 1. Then Hamashiach led up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil.
He what?
To be tempted of the devil.
Read.
And when he had fasted 40 days and 40
He
nights,
did what?
fasted 40 days and 40 nights,
He was what?
he was afterward hungry.
Read on.
And when the tempter came to him, he said, if you be the son of Yah, command that these stones be made bread.
So right here, it say he was hungry. Right? So this would take us back to somebody else being hungry. But selling their birthright, falling for it. Esau, exactly. So when he was tempted, he sold his birthright for a morsel of meat, which was not steak, bloody steak, by the way. But he sold out for it. Read.
But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah.
Go ahead.
Then the devil take him up into a Kodesh city, and set him on a pinnacle of the temple.
Do what?
And set him on a pinnacle of the temple.
Read.
And said to him, if you be the son of Yah, cast yourself down. For it is written, he shall give his Malachim charge concerning you. And in their hands they shall bear you up, lest at any time you dash your foot against a stone. Hamashiach said unto him, it is written again, you shall not tempt the master your power. Again, the devil take him up into an exceeding high mountain, and show him all the kingdoms of the world.
He showed him what?
All the kingdoms of the world.
Showed him the kingdoms of the world. Keep that in mind. Read.
And the glory of them. And said unto him, all these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me. Then said Hamashiach unto him, get you hence, Satan. For it is written, you shall worship Yahuwah your power, and him only shall you serve.
So right here, what is he really offering him? So remember, Pharaoh's wife was a what? Harlot, right? So what is he offering the Messiah right here? Let's see. Let's get Revelation 17. Pick it up at verse 1.
The book of Revelations, chapter 17 and verse 1. And there came one of the seven Malachim, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come here, I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sit upon many waters.
So remember, he said, I'm offering you the kingdoms of the world, right? So now he's about to show him this whore that's sitting somewhere. Read.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
Just like Pharaoh's wife tried to get Joseph to commit what? Fornication. Read.
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness.
Into the where?
Into the wilderness.
Where did Hamashiach go at?
Into the wilderness.
Read.
And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names and of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
That's those kingdoms that was offered. Kingdoms of the world, he just offered them. Jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots.
The what?
The mother of harlots.
The mother of harlots. So Satan actually offered him a harlot, just like Pharaoh's wife was playing the harlot. Let's see a little more. Revelations 13 and 2. Revelations 13 and 2.
says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw, oh, you said verse 2?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can start that. You can go ahead and start.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea.
What kind of dirt is in the wilderness?
Sand.
Read.
And saw a beast ride up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns,
Those are those kingdoms. Read.
and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of
The
blasphemy.
name of what?
Blasphemy.
The name of blasphemy. So Satan in the wilderness tempted the Messiah. He said, I'll give you all of these things if you bow down and worship me. But the Messiah turned it down, right? Let's see who took it. Read.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
So the Messiah refused it, but this person comes along and takes it. We should know it's no good because the Messiah refused it. All right? Let's go back. Genesis 39. Potiphar what? So it's Potiphar's wife, one of the captains. Genesis 39, and let's pick it up at verse 10.
Genesis chapter 39 in verse 10. And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day,
So she didn't stop. She adding. Go ahead.
that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time, that Joseph went into the house to do his business.
Jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant, which you have brought unto us, came in unto me to mock, came in unto me.
Is she telling the truth?
Absolutely not.
Straight up lie, right? Read.
To mock me.
Ain't this something like when the women drove the car off the bridge and say, the Hebrew did this. Got that man put in jail and all this stuff because she told a lie. Read.
And it came to pass, as I lift up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out.
Read.
And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which he spake unto him, saying, After this manner did your servant to me, that his wrath was kindled.
So this man is furious now off of what his wife had told him. Read.
And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in prison.
And he was there in prison. Now, did Joseph make any complaints? Did he say, man, I didn't do that. She lying on me. Ain't that the natural reaction? It's to say, she telling a lie on me. He about to go to prison. He already in a strange place and he don't say nothing. Let's see why. This is a similitude. Let's get Isaiah 53. Pick it up at verse 7.
Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth.
He did what?
He opened not his
He
mouth.
didn't say a word, didn't complain about it. Just like Joseph. Read.
He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before the shearers is dumb. So he opened not his
He
mouth.
opened not his mouth. Read.
He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was stricken.
Jump down to verse 12.
Verse 12. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong. because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the
He
transgressors.
was numbered with the transgressions. Put in there just like he was a criminal and he ain't done absolutely nothing. Read.
And he bare the sins of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
Made intercessors for the transgression. Let's get Matthew 27. Matthew 27, pick it up at verse 11.
The book of Matthew, chapter 27, and verse 11. Everybody there? No? Matthew 27 and 11. And Hamashiach stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Are you the king of the Jews? And Hamashiach said unto him, You say it.
You saying it. Okay. That's what you say. Go ahead.
And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing.
He did what?
He answered nothing.
Answered nothing. Didn't say a word. Read.
Then said Pilate unto him, Hear you now how many things they witness against you? And he answered him to never a word.
Read that again.
And he answered him to never a word,
Read.
insomuch that the governor marveled greatly.
Man, do you know what these people is claiming you done? All the accusations they putting on you, you don't got nothing to say? Same as Joseph. Had to be fulfilled. Read.
Now at the feast, the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner.
Oh, we good right there. Okay. Let's go back. Genesis 40. So we see he was tempted of a whore, same way. Put into prison, didn't say nothing. So Genesis 40, let's pick it up at verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 40 and verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their master, the king of Egypt.
So it was two people right here, right? We got the butler and the baker. Two individuals. Read.
And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them inward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season inward.
So
And-
now these two people is in the prison with Joseph. There's two people in there with him that specifically they point out. Let's jump down to verse 13. Matter of fact, pick it up at verse 12.
Verse 12. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it.
So both of these two guys had dreams. Joseph was an interpreter of dreams. He got it from the Most High though. Which this story also parallels to Daniel. Because Daniel was the same way, prophesying and showing them the meaning of their dreams. Read.
Yet within 3 days,
Within what?
within 3 days,
So anytime you see 3 days in the scripture, you should already know that this is trying to show you something pointing to the Messiah. Read.
yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head and restore you unto your place, and you shall deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand.
So it says, in 3 days, this one guy was going to be restored to his place. There's one of them, right? Read.
Into his place. After the former manner, and you shall deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand after the former manner when you was his butler.
Go ahead.
But think on me when it shall be with you, and show kindness, I pray you, unto me. and make mention of me unto Pharaoh.
Now, I think it's in the book of Jasher right here, because he asked this guy to remember him when he got out. The Most High left him in prison for 2 more years for this, because he put his trust in man. Read.
But think on me when it shall be with you, and show kindness, I pray you, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews.
I was what?
I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews. And here also I have done nothing.
This is the only time you will hear Joseph ever mentioning something that he didn't do something. Right here. And it's a reason. He says, I was stolen out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. Read.
When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said to Joseph, I was in my dream. I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my bed, on my head.
So now we got the other one. He want his dream interpreted, because he told him a good thing that's gonna come from his. Hey, I had a dream as well. Tell me about mine. Read.
And in the uppermost basket there was of all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days.
A what?
Are 3
The
days.
3 baskets are 3 days. Read.
Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head from off you.
He shall do what?
Lift up your head from off you,
Read.
and shall hang you on a tree.
He shall do what?
Hang you on a tree. And the birds shall eat your flesh from off you.
So right here, ain't looking good for this one. So guess what? He wasn't feeling this. Let's get Matthew 27 and 38. Because we got two guys that they specifically talking about in the prison with him. So let's see how this relates to Hamashiach. Matthew 27 and verse 38.
The book of Matthew, chapter 27 and verse 38. Then were the 2 thieves,
The two what?
the 2 thieves
The 2 thieves, read.
crucified with him, one on the right hand and the other on the left.
So he tell you back in, I think it's John 8:44, somewhere in there, he says, I'm going to separate them. I'm going to put the sheep on one side and the goats on another side. So let's see what this is actually talking about. Let's get Luke 23 and pick it up at verse 39. Luke 23, 39.
The book of Luke, chapter 23 and verse 39. And one of the malefactors, which were hang railed on him,
He did what?
which were hang railed on him,
The malefactors is one of the thieves that it's talking about. So this is one of the thieves. Read.
saying, if you be Hamashiach, save yourself and us.
So he up there on the cross, on the stake with him, and he talking junk. Read.
But the other answering rebuked him, saying, do not you fear Yah, seeing you are in the same condemnation?
Don't you fear the Most High? You in the same predicament right now. You up here as well. So we got one about to get a good sentence or favor, and the other one not good for him. Read.
And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man hath done nothing amiss.
So it's the same thing, just like Joseph said. I'm in this dungeon and I haven't done nothing. So he telling you right here that this man has done nothing wrong. Read.
And he said unto Hamashiach, Master, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
Remember me when you come into your kingdom. Just like he told the other one, you're going to be restored to your place. Read.
And Hamashiach said unto him, truly I say to you, today shall you be with me in paradise.
Today shall you be with me in paradise. So again, one got that good favor, and the other one, utter darkness. All right. Let's go back. Genesis 41. It's so much that I had to skip a whole bunch of stuff. Genesis 41, and we're going to pick it up at verse 38.
The book of Genesis, chapter 41 and verse 38. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this?
Can we find somebody like this? Read.
A man in whom the spirit of Yah is?
Read that again.
A man in whom the spirit of Yah is?
So this is saying Joseph. We know it's talking about Joseph right here, but it's really pointing you to the Messiah, because he is the one that's got the spirit of the Most High in him. Read.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as Yah have showed you all this, there is none so discreet and wise as you are.
Ain't nobody as wise as you are. That's a Mashiach all day. Read.
You shall be over my house.
Who's over the Most High's house? Read.
You shall be over my house. And according to your word shall all my people be ruled.
According to what?
And according to your word shall all my people be ruled.
So he is the word of the Most High, and he is the one that's coming with that rod of iron and going to rule the house. Read.
Only in the throne will I be greater than you.
Only in the throne the Most High is greater. This is a similitude showing you what's to actually come. Read.
Verse 40. Verse 41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand.
So you can look at Egypt in this sense as the world or the globe, everywhere, not just Egypt, but everywhere, the whole thing. Read.
Took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they carried before him, bowed the knee. They cried before him. They cried before him, bowed the knee.
Do what?
Bow the knee.
Bow the knee. Read.
And he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt.
So right here we got Joseph coming out of prison, being restored to what he's supposed to do. But if he fall for that woman, none of this don't ever happen. All of this is wiped away if he falls to the temptation of the harlot. Everything is lost. We hit if this takes place. So this is deep. All right, let's get, did you just read verse 43?
Yep.
Read 43 again.
Verse 43. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had.
So ride in the second chariot, the Most High in the first one, and you in the second one, because only the Most High is greater. Read.
And they cried before him, bowed the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt.
So we're going to keep that bow the knee in mind. Let's get Matthew 28. Matthew 28 and 16.
The book of Matthew, chapter 28 and verse 16. Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee, into a mountain where Hamashiach had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him.
They did what?
They worshipped
They
him.
worshiped him. When you worship somebody, what do?
Wow.
Read.
They worshipped him, but some doubted. And Hamashiach came and spake to them, saying, all power is given to me in Shamayim and in earth.
So just like he told Joseph, all power, everything that you say do, they better do it. That's what he's showing them right here. All power been given to me. Read.
Go you therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Kodesh Spirit.
All right, we good right there. So we see he got that same power, not only over that, but over everything. Let's get Psalms 110 and 1. Psalms 110 and 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 110 and verse 1. Yahuwah said unto my master, sit you at my right hand until I make your enemies your
Do
footstool.
what?
Sit you at my right hand until I make your enemies your
So
footstool.
I'm going to make your enemies your footstool. You're going to bow one way or the other. Isaiah 45 and 23.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 23. I have sworn by myself, the word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return, that unto me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear.
Read that again.
I have sworn by myself, the word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return, that unto me every knee shall bow.
Every knee shall bow. If you don't want to do it, it's a nice blade waiting on your neck. Because a lot of people ain't going to want to do it. Israelites and non-Israelites alike. Finish it out.
Every tongue shall swear.
So every tongue shall swear. Let's see where it come from. Genesis 49 and 8.
Verse 24.
Okay.
Verse 24. Surely shall one say, in Yahuwah have our righteousness and strength, even to him shall men come.
Even to him shall men come. So the gathering is actually going to take place when he get here. Not a whole bunch of dudes saying, let's come together and do this. Read.
And all that are incensed against him shall be ashamed.
Ooh, that's heavy. Everybody that's against them going to be ashamed. You're going to hate that you called them JC. You're going to hate that you did all that blasphemous stuff. Putting up that white man and doing all that. You're going to hate that you done that.
Absolutely.
Read.
In Yahuwah shall all the seed of Israel be justified and esteemed.
Genesis 49. Pick it up at verse 8.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 8. Judah, you are whom your brethren shall praise. Your hand shall be in the neck of your enemies.
This is talking directly about the Mashiach, even though it says Judah. Read.
Your father's children shall bow down before you.
Do what?
Your father's children shall bow down before you.
So the father's children shall bow down before you. Just like Joseph showed you the similitude or the foreshadowing of this happening. Pharaoh told everybody, bow the knee. Whenever you see Joseph, bow your knee to him. Same exact thing gonna happen. Let's go back. Genesis 41. Genesis 41, and pick it up at verse 44.
Genesis chapter 41 and verse 44. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without you shall no man lift up his head or foot in all the land of Egypt.
So without you, nobody ain't going to do nothing. Just like Amasiah came down to do the Father's will. Read.
And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Ziphnath Pa'aniah, and he gave to him wife Asenath, the daughter of Patai Phorah, priest of On. And Joseph went over all the land of Egypt.
So right here, Joseph's name has been what?
Changed.
His name has been changed. And he's given the daughter of an Egyptian. So that this would be a strange wife to Joseph, right? So Joseph's name is changed. Let's get Matthew 1. Matthew 1, 21.
The book of Matthew, chapter 1 and verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Yahushua.
Read it as it is.
And he shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Jesus.
Is that his name? Same thing. Joseph got his name changed. So he get his name changed. Read.
For he shall save his people from their sins.
Also got a Gentile wife. So the children of Israel in the world's eyes has been replaced. He said that the church is his new wife. He put the children of Israel away a long time ago. They're no more. Same thing. Let's get Deuteronomy 18. and 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 15. Yahuwah, your Elohim, will raise up unto you a prophet from the midst of you, of your brethren, like unto me, and unto him you shall listen.
Do what?
Unto him you shall listen.
Same way he told him about Joseph. You better listen to him. Everything he tell you to do, listen. Just like with Moses. Read.
According to all that you desire of Yahuwah in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahuwah my power, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not.
So we didn't even want to hear the Most High voice. We need somebody to filter it. Read.
And Yahuwah said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto you, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
So he don't speak his own words. Read.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not listen to my words which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
Do what?
I will require it of him.
I will require it of him. So it was the same thing with Joseph and the Pharaoh. If you didn't do what he said do, it was going to be required of you. All right, let's go back. Genesis 41. Pick it up at verse 46.
Verse 46. And Joseph was 30 years old.
How old?
He was 30 years old.
And Joseph was 30 years old. Read.
when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt.
All what we got right here, and let's get Luke 3 and 22. How old was Joseph?
30.
Let's get Luke 2 and
You got it. 22.
yeah, go ahead.
Luke chapter 3 and verse 22. And the Kodesh spirit descended in a bodily shape like a dove upon him. And a voice came from Shalom saying, You are my beloved son, and you I am well pleased.
So this is when he's just about to be anointed and become the person that he is. Read.
And Hamashiach himself began to be about 30 years of age.
About what?
About 30 years of age.
Go ahead.
Being, as was supposed,
As was what?
as was supposed,
Wait a minute. As was supposed. Read.
the son of Joseph, which was the son of Halai.
Wow. I wonder why they put that supposed like that in there. That's another story. All right. Let's go back. Genesis 42. And they say that the Messiah's whole story come from Egypt. And all of this stuff match. Genesis 42 and pick it up at verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 1. And when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said to his sons, Why do you look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down here and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt.
There's what? How many brothers?
10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt.
Northern Kingdom got 10. Read.
But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, Lest perhaps mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan.
So now remember, Joseph is in charge, and there's a famine in the land. Let's find out how this pertains to Hamashiach. Hold this right here, and let's get Amos 8. Amos 8 and 11. Let's see how this famine pertains to Hamashiach.
The book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will send a famine in the land.
Send a what?
A famine in the land.
I will send a famine in the land. Let's see, read.
Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of the hearing of the word of Yahuwah.
So it's a famine, but this is a little bit different. Spiritual famine. Read.
And they shall wander from sea to sea, from north even to east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahuwah, and shall not find it.
And shall not find it. It's showing you that it's not a lot of people that's actually got the word and actually teaching it for what it is. There's a whole bunch of people doing it, but he said you're going to go to and fro to seek this word and not be able to find it. But we got people everywhere holding the book saying that they doing it. Something ain't right.
Something wrong with this picture. Something ain't right.
Let's get Deuteronomy 8.
Deuteronomy chapter 8,
Verse 3.
verse 3. And he humbled you and suffered you to hunger.
To do what?
He humbled you and suffered you to hunger.
He humbled you and suffered you to hunger. It was on purpose. Read.
And fed you with manna, which you knew not. Neither did your fathers know, that he might make you know that man do not live by bread alone, by bread only, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yahuwah do man live.
So the famine, the manna, Hamashiach is the manna. He gonna have to actually feed you through the famine. Let's continue. So everybody had to come to Joseph to buy wine and all of these different things, because he was over it, because they had the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of nothing. So if you didn't come to Joseph, you starved, you died. You had to come to him. Let's get Isaiah 55. Let's see who we go to. Isaiah 55, verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 55 and verse 1. Ho, everyone that thirsts, come you to the water.
Everybody that's thirsty, everybody that's in need, he said, come ye to the waters. But if you came to Joseph, you had to have some money. Read.
Come you to the waters, and he that have no money.
He that have what?
He that have no money.
He that have no money. When Joseph was there, if you ain't had no money, you get nothing. Read.
And he that have no money, come you, buy and eat. Yeah, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price.
Buy wine and milk without money and without price. Just free. Just do what he tell you to do. And I'm going to give it to you. You don't got to hit the lotto to be able to get in. That's actually going to lessen your chance. Exactly. Read.
Wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread?
Why for do you spend money for that which is not bread? Why is you going in and paying tithes to all these people and giving them money for nothing? And it don't profit you absolutely nothing. You still come out as dumb as a box of rocks. Read that from the top again.
Wherefore do you spend money that which is not bread, for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfy not? Listen diligently unto me, and eat you that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness.
Let your soul delight itself in fatness. This is what he was saying at that table. Here, take my body, eat, because he the bread that came from Shamayim. It was his blood that was shed to bring you in. So all this other stuff, if it don't pertain to him and the Father, it's pointless. So it's like you eating something with no nutrients in it. Like eating McDonald's or something. Nothing. You just eating. But there's nothing. There's nothing to it. Genesis 42. Let's go back there. Pick it up at verse 6.
Genesis 42 and verse 6. And Joseph was the governor over the land. And he was the soul to all the people of the land.
And it was that soul to all the people of the land. Read.
And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him.
This is what Joseph actually told them before, and it made them jealous of him. Read.
with their faces to the earth.
With their what?
With their faces to the earth.
With their faces to the earth. So just like he told them in his dream, you're going to bow to me. They just did it. They just fulfilled it. Even though they don't know it at this time. Read.
And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them. But he made himself strange unto them.
He made himself what?
Strange unto them.
So it just says Joseph knew his brothers, but they didn't know him. Then it says he made himself strange to them. Read.
And spoke roughly to them.
He did what?
Spoke roughly to them.
He spoke roughly to them. What would speaking roughly mean? Harsh, right? Spoke roughly to him. He made himself strange and he spoke roughly or harsh to them. Let's get Luke 24 and see how this relates to Hamashiach. Luke 24 and pick it up at verse 13.
The book of Luke, chapter 24 and verse 13. And behold, two of them went that same day to a village called Emmaus, which was from Jerusalem about 80 furlongs. And they talked together of all these things which had happened. And it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Hamashiach himself drew near and went with them.
So this is after Hamashiach has resurrected and came out of the tomb, right? Read.
But their eyes were holden that they should not know him.
They should do what?
Their eyes were holden that they should not know him.
They should not know him. So it says Joseph knew his brothers, but his brothers knew him not. So he walking amongst his brethren, and they don't even recognize him. Read.
Verse 17. And he said unto them, what manner of communication are these that you have one to another, as you walk and are sad? And the one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering said unto him, are you only a stranger in Jerusalem?
Are you a stranger? You don't know what just happened? They just killed the Messiah. You don't know about this? But he don't even realize he's talking to him. Read.
Have you not known the things which are come to pass in the land in these days? And he said unto them, what things?
What things? He playing with him. Read.
And they said unto him, concerning Hamashiach of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty in deed and word, before Yah and all the people.
Read.
And how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And besides all this, today is the third day since these things were done.
Today is the third day. Read.
Yeah, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre.
We talking about the Marys that went to the sepulchre looking for him. Read.
And when they found out his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of Malachim, which said that he was alive.
He was what?
He was alive.
He was alive. Read.
And certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found it even so, that the women had said. But him they saw not.
Read.
Then he said unto them, O fools!
Oh what?
O fools!
Oh fools! Why did he say that? Because he had to speak roughly or harshly to him, just like the scripture told you. Read.
O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken.
And all that the prophets have spoken. If you knew Joseph's story, you would have known this. Read.
Ought not Hamashiach to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory?
Just like Joseph had to suffer all them things to enter into his esteem or glory. Let's go back. Genesis 42. Genesis 42. Let's pick it up at verse 11.
Verse 11. Genesis 42 and verse 11. We are all one man's sons.
We are what?
We are all one man's sons.
We are all one man's son. Read.
We are true men. Your servants are no spies.
Because Joseph is playing with them now. He got them thinking that he think that they spies. All because he testing them. Read.
And he said unto them, No, but to see the nakedness of the land you are come.
So y'all come here trying to spy out the land. Playing with them. Read.
And they said, Your servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto them, That is it that I spake unto you, saying you are spies. Hereby you shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh you shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come here. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and you shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely you are spies.
Surely you are what?
Spies.
Read.
And he put them all together into 3 days.
In ward 3 days. Remember, every time I tell you something about 3 days, it's trying to show you something. So it says, and he put them all together in jail 3 days. That word means jail. For 3 days. Let's see how this pertains to Amasa. Let's get Ezekiel 39. Now remember, they transgressed against Joseph for him to even be doing what he's doing right now. They sinned against him because they sold him. Ezekiel 39, and pick it up at verse 22.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 39 and verse 22. So the house of Israel shall know that I am Yahuwah their power.
So the who?
So the house of Israel shall know that I am Yahuwah their power from that day and forward.
From that day, they're going to know. Read.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity.
Went into what?
Went into captivity.
Went into jail. Read.
For their iniquity, because they transgressed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them.
Say that again. Read that again.
Therefore hid I my face from them.
So because we transgressed against him, he said he hid his face from us. All of us in here want to know what the Most High and Hamashiach look like. But the mind can't even fathom it. Read that verse again. 23.
Verse 23. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they transgressed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they by the sword.
So remember, we just left from over there. It says he told them 3 days. He put them in wards or prison for 3 days. Let's see how it relates. Let's get Matthew 23. And 35.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 35. That upon you may come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, the son of Berechias, whom you slew between the temple and the altar. Truly I say to you, all these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you that kill the prophets and stone them which are sent to you, how often will I have gathered the children together?
He talk about his own brethren. That's why he says, O Jerusalem, O Jerusalem. Read.
How often would I have gathered the children together, even as a hen gather her chicks under her wings, and you would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say to you, you shall not see me henceforth.
You shall what?
You shall not see me henceforth.
I'ma hide my face. For I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth. He is the face of the Most High. He says, you ain't gonna see me no more. Read.
I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth, till you shall say, blessed is he that come in the name of Yahuwah.
You ain't gonna see me no more until you say this. I'm gonna hide my face from you.
Just the first time I don't mean to say that. First time I seen anything about chickens. Okay.
That's not what that really said.
Okay, but it is.
That's not what it really said.
It's not.
We'll touch it out
Yeah,
there.
we'll touch that.
All right.
That's not what that really said.
Go back to Genesis 42. We can pick it up at verse 17.
Genesis chapter 42 and verse 17. And he put them all together inward 3 days. And Joseph said to them, the third day this do, and live. For I fear Yah.
So right here he says, and Joseph said unto them, the third day this do, and live, for I fear the Most High. Let's see how this pertains. Let's get Hosea 6. So he said the third day. Hosea 6 and 1. Hosea 6 and 1.
The book of Hosea chapter 6 and verse 1. Come, let us return to Yahuwah.
He told him, do the will of the Most High. Read.
For he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up.
Read.
After 2 days.
After what?
After 2 days.
After 2 days. Read.
Will he revive us?
He will do what?
He will revive us.
Just like he just did with them in the prison. Read.
In the third day, he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight.
But in this is talking about 3,000 years. And then Joseph is talking about 3 literal days. So let's get Luke 21. Luke 21 and 24.
The book of Luke chapter 21 and verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So it's been a long time. That's why he says, after in the third day, I'm going to raise you up. I'm going to bring you out of this. So it seems like a long time. That's why even back to Moses, when it says Moses delayed to come down, showing you the same thing, that it seemed like it's delaying. It's like, man, they've been saying this forever. Let's get Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23, pick it up at verse 5.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 5. Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth.
Read.
In his days Judah shall be saved,
That's when he gonna raise you up in that third day. In his days, Judah shall be saved. Read.
Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely.
We ain't doing that right now. Read.
And this is his name, whereby shall he be called, the Master our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that they shall no more say, Yahuwah live, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
So this thing that he gonna do this next time, it's gonna be so great that you ain't gonna even never talk about this, what happened in Egypt no more. Read.
But Yahuwah lived, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country.
Out of where?
Out of the north country.
Out of the north country, not America. So, but the reason why Joseph is doing everything that he's doing is to gather his brothers up to him. We know Hamashiach is the one that's going to gather everybody, because one of his brothers stayed in Egypt. He didn't come back with him, but he trying to get all of them to come.
Is that us? It's just the same.
Absolutely. Genesis 42. Let's pick it up at verse 20. So everything that Joseph is doing is to set the stage to get all of his brothers back in one place. Genesis 42 and 20.
The book of Genesis,
Start at 19.
chapter 42 and verse 19. If you be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go you, carry corn forth the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother to me. So shall your words be verified, and you shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, we are truly guilty concerning our brother.
We're what?
We are truly guilty concerning our brother.
So now they confessing this great fault that they done. They confessing that they understand what we did was a great sin. Read.
In that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us.
So they get it. Therefore this distress has come on us, because they know that they sinned a great sin against their brother. Read.
And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, do not sin against the child.
Reuben is like, I told y'all don't do that, and y'all did it anyway. Now look at us. Read.
And you would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter.
So Joseph is watching the whole thing, just like Hamashiach is watching the whole thing. Don't even realize he watching everything and see everything and know that it's you. Read.
And wept and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. And Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore.
No, you jump. Go back to verse
24.
pick it up at 23.
Verse 23. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter.
By what?
By an interpreter.
By an interpreter. A different language. Like we read in a different language. Read.
And he turned himself about for them, and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes.
So right here, they don't recognize him. They seeing him, but they don't recognize him. Let's hold that what you got. Let's get Ezekiel 39 and 28. Let's see why. Ezekiel 39 and 28. Matter of fact, pick it up at 27.
Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 27. When I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations.
So this is talking about the future end time prophecy. Read.
Then shall they know that I am Yahuwah their power, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them.
Neither will I do what?
Hide my face any more from them.
Neither will I hide my face any more from them. Read.
For I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith Yahuwah Elohim.
So it's still about seeing his face, hiding his face. Let's go back. Genesis 42. Pick it up at verse 25.
The book of Genesis chapter 42 and verse 25. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision from the way. And thus did he unto them.
Read.
And they let... Man.
So he just gave them everything that they needed, gave them their money back, but according to what they did to him, do they deserve it?
No.
Absolutely not. Just like we really don't deserve. Read.
Verse 26. And they laded their donkeys with the corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his donkey provender, in the end he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth.
So now he just noticed, dang, we paid for this stuff, but the money is right back here. How is this? This got him wondering. But again, they don't deserve what's happening with them. Let's get Matthew 5. Hold this, we're coming back. Matthew 5, 43.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 43. You have heard that it hath been said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy.
You should read that again.
You have heard that it hath been said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy.
Go ahead.
But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you.
This is exactly what Joseph is doing, because his brothers was directly his enemies in this sense. Because if you sell me, throw me in the pit for dead, you my enemy. But he turned around and gave them all this stuff that they needed to save the family back in the land of Canaan. Read.
Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
This is some hard stuff, but Joseph is actually showing you that it's being done. Read.
That you may be the children of your Father which is in Shamaim.
So if you don't do this, he's saying right here, you need to do this, that you may be the children of your Father. So if you don't do it, then you're not. And if you're not, then you're on the other side. Satan's children. Read.
That you may be the children of your Father which is in Shamaim, where he make his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and send rain on the just and on the unjust.
So, as wicked as people are, he don't just make it rain on the righteous man garden. Even the wicked man garden, he rain on it. So it'll grow. Read.
For if you love them which love you, what reward have you? Do not even the publicans the same? And if you salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans so? But you, therefore, Be you therefore perfect.
Be what?
Be you therefore perfect.
Halfway.
Be you therefore
It's
perfect.
impossible.
Be you therefore perfect, even as your Father, which is in Shamayim, is perfect.
So Joseph was showing everything that he just ran down. All the evil that his brothers done put on him, he turned right around and taking care of him. So let's go back. Genesis 42. This is why I asked y'all to have two Bibles, because I knew we was going to be flipping back and forth. Pick it up at verse 36.
Genesis chapter 42 and verse 36. And Jacob their father said unto them, Me have you bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and you will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And Reuben spake to his father, saying,
So all Jacob can see in this thing is evil. If I send him down there, what if he get killed? Because the only thing that he can see at this point is, oh, another one of my boys might get killed. I don't want to send him down there. He don't got the foresight to see what's actually going on. Read.
And Reuben spake to his father, saying, Slay my two sons.
Do what?
Slay my two sons.
Slay my two sons. Read.
If I bring him not to you. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to you again.
Go ahead.
And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which you go, then shall you bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave.
So he don't even want to let him go. But
Kill
again,
me if you don't come out there.
exactly. But again, Joseph's whole thing is to gather all the children of Israel in one place. But he don't see it at the moment. Because he got fear. And he told us, the Most High didn't give you the spirit of fear. He feared his son gonna get killed, like the other one. Like he thought Joseph is dead. Because at this moment, he still thinks Joseph is dead.
It's his brother's fault, even in that mindset.
Exactly. So let's get John 11.
Well, his son's fault, right?
In John 11. John 11 and 47.
The book of John, chapter 11, and verse 47. Everybody there? In verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council, and said, What do we? For this man do many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
All men will what?
All men will believe on him.
All men will believe on him. Because he's the one that's going to do the gathering. So they're trying to discourage this and disrupt it so the gathering will never happen. Read 47 again.
Verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council, and said, What do we? For this man do many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
Take away our place and our nation. So we can't let them all get together. We can't let them be gathered. Exactly. We can't let this happen. Because they're going to take away our place and our nation. Everything that we're working for. Let's go back. Genesis 43. We're going to pick it up at verse 18.
Genesis 43 and 18. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and our donkeys. And they came near to the stewards of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass when we came to the end that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack.
So now they recognize that their money is back in their sack, and they scared about it. They're in fear of their place being taken. Read.
Our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And other money we have brought down in our hand to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, peace be to you.
What be to you?
Peace be to you.
Peace, shalom to you. Read.
Fear not, your power and the power of your father have given you treasure in your sacks.
I've given you what?
Have given you treasure in your sacks.
So he said, lay not on earth, but lay your treasures in Shamaim. Read.
I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water.
Gave them what?
He gave them water.
Gave them spirit. Read.
And they washed their feet.
And they did what?
And they washed their feet.
Didn't the Mashiach take them and wash their feet? Read.
And he gave their donkeys provender. And they made ready the present. The present against Joseph came at noon. For they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth.
There they go, fulfilling it again.
All the brothers.
Bowed themselves to him to the earth. Oh, what we got right here. Let's get Revelation 5. Because he told you, every knee shall bow.
First time they told us they didn't have all the brothers.
Right, so exactly. First time all of them wasn't there. Next time all of them is there. Revelations 5 and 12.
The book of Revelations, chapter 5 and verse 12. Saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb.
Worthy is the Lamb. Read.
That was slain to receive power and riches.
To receive power and riches. Didn't they just bring these presents to Joseph? Read.
And wisdom and strength and honor and esteem and blessings. And every creature which is in Shamaim and on earth and under the earth, and such are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, blessing and honor and esteem and power be unto him that sit upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever.
How long?
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever. So Joseph's story is showing you all of these things. Let's go back. Genesis 43. We're going to pick it up at verse 29.
Genesis 43 and 29. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, is this your younger brother of whom you spake to me? And
now,
he said,
mind you, this is his first time ever seeing Benjamin. Read.
is this your younger brother of whom you spake to me? And he said, Yah be gracious unto you, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep.
So Joseph got to get out of there because he overtaken with emotions. He got to move. He got to get out like a man. He can't let the world see him cry. this deep to me.
Yeah.
Read.
And he entered into his chamber and wept there.
So he got away from them and cried alone from them. Read.
And he washed his face and went out.
So he went back. Oh, man. Because he know who they are, but they still don't recognize him. Oh, man, this thing too. Read.
And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, set on bread.
Matter of fact, stop right there. Let's jump ahead. Let's go to 44 and 1.
Genesis 44 and 1.
Like I said, it's so much in here that we'll be days if we actually go through everything. Genesis 44 and verse 1.
Genesis 44 and 1. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth, and put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word of Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their donkeys. And when they were going out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, up, follow after the men.
Go and follow them. I just loaded them down with as much as they can carry, but he put his cup in the sack as well. His silver cup. Read.
Follow after the men. And when you overtake them, say to them, where have you reward evil for good?
Why have you done evil for good? I gave you everything that you need to go home with, but you done did evil to me. You done stole my cup. Read.
Is not this it in which my master drink? And whereby indeed he divined?
He divineth.
You have done evil in so doing.
You have done evil in so doing, but he's setting them up.
Right.
Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13. Then they rent their clothes and laid in every man his donkey and returned to the city.
So they worried in the mug right now. Oh my God. He told them, who took this cup? Why did you do this? You about to bring evil on us. Read.
And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground.
Fell before him on the ground. Read.
And Joseph said to them, what deed is this you have done? Wot you not that such a man as I can certainly divine?
Don't you know I got the power to see what you have done? Which Amashiach actually got the power to see. Joseph is doing it in a slick way. I know what you got because I put it there. But Amashiach actually can see for real. Read.
And Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord, unto my master? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? Y'all have found out the iniquity of your servants.
He did what?
Found out the iniquity of your servants.
Most High found out the iniquity. Don't Amashiach know all the iniquity that's being done? Read.
Behold, we are my master's servants, both we and he also, with whom the cup is found.
With whom the cup is found. Hold that. Let's go to Zechariah 12 and 10. Zechariah 12. Pick it up at 9.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 12 and verse 9. And it come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication.
The spirit of what?
Grace and of supplication.
So he gonna pour it grace and supplication. We're going to find out in a minute. Read.
And they shall look upon me, whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him.
They shall do what?
They shall look upon me, whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for
And
him,
they shall mourn for him. Read.
as one mourn for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn.
Keep that in mind. We just read it. Go back. Genesis 44. Let's pick it up at verse 17.
The book of Genesis, chapter 44, verse 17. And he said, Yah forbid that I should do so, but the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father.
Get out of here. I'm gonna only keep the one who cup, wherever the cup, whoever got the cup, that's the one I'm gonna keep. Everybody else can go. Let's jump. Matter of fact, keep reading.
Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my master, let your servant, I pray you, speak a word in my master's ear.
Let me holler at you on the side, bro. Let me holler at you on the side, man. Read.
Let not your anger burn against your servant, for you are even as Pharaoh.
You are what?
You are even as Pharaoh.
Messiah, you are even as the Most High. Read.
My master asked as his servant, saying, Have you a father or a brother? And we said unto my master, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his own age, a little one, and his brother is dead. And he alone is left of his mother, and his father loved him.
Exactly. Now they're speaking about him. Read.
And you said unto your servant, Bring him down to me, that I may set my eyes upon him. And he said unto my master, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And you said unto the servant, Except your youngest brother came down with you, you shall see my face. You shall see my face no more.
You shall see my face no more. Why do they want to see Joseph's face over there? Because it's showing you something. Because it's somebody else's face that we want to see. Read.
And it came to pass, when we came up to your servants, and when we came up to your servant, my father, we told him your word, the words of my master. And our father said, Go again and buy us a little food. And we said, We cannot go down if our youngest brother be with us. If our youngest brother be with us, then we will go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our younger brother be with us.
We may not see his face unless our brother with us. Read.
And your servant my father said to us.
And that go with seeing the Most High's face. Because you ain't going to never see his face without the Messiah taking you to him. Read.
You know that my wife bare me 2 sons. And the one went out from me, and I said, Surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if you take this also from me, and mischief befall him, you shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to your servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass, when he see the lad is not with us, that he will die.
He will do what?
He will die.
He will die. Read.
And your servant shall bring down the gray hairs of your servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For your servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not to you, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever.
I will do what?
Bear the blame to my father forever.
Read.
Now therefore I pray you, let your servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my master. And let the lad go up with his brethren.
So Joseph right here saying, I'll take it. Judah is saying this, I'll take it. I'll put the blame on me. He willing to lay down his life for his brother. Didn't the Messiah say that? There's no greater love than a man lay down his life for his friends. Exactly. and he came from Judah. Read 33 again.
Now therefore, I pray you, let your servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my master, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me?
So how am I going to be able to explain this when I get back to him? Read.
Lest perhaps I see the evil that shall come on my father.
So over that, let's get John 15 and 13. John 15 and 13.
John chapter 15 and verse 13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
Do you do what?
That a man lay down his life for his friends.
That's exactly what Hamashiach did, because he told the disciples, y'all are my friends. Abraham was what? His friends. All right, let's go back. Genesis 45 and 1.
Genesis chapter 45 and verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all that they stood by him, and he cried, caused every man to go out from me, and there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known to his brethren.
He did what?
Made himself known to his brethren.
He made himself known to his brethren. Read.
And he wept aloud.
He did what?
He wept aloud.
Now he just letting it all out. He been playing this little trick with him. He can't even take it no more. Read.
And the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph.
I am who?
I am Joseph.
I am Joseph. So imagine what they feeling. They've been thinking for all these years that their brother is dead. He's sitting here looking like an Egyptian to them, knowing all the evil that they done. And imagine the feeling that they got right now when he say, I am Joseph. Read.
Do my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence.
So they was troubled at his presence. So they in what? They in awe. They in disbelief. Hold what we got right here. Let's get Matthew 24 and 30. Matthew 24 and 30.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in Shamaim. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of Shamaim with power and great esteem.
With power and great esteem. So all the tribes gonna mourn. Let's go back. Genesis 45. Pick it up at verse 3.
Verse 3. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Do my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him.
So now Joseph is the king right at this point. He actually got the power to kill them. Because he the governor, he the man over this land. It's in his power to put them to death. Read.
For they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you.
Come near to me, I pray you. Hold that. Let's get Luke 19. Luke 19 and 41.
The book of Luke, chapter 19 and verse 41. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over
He
it.
did what?
When he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it.
So just like Joseph couldn't contain himself and wept, he wept over Jerusalem because he see all the danger and all the evil that's about to befall him. Read.
Saying, if you have known, even you, at least, in this your day the things which belong unto your peace. But now they are hid from your eyes.
They're what?
They are hid from your
They
eyes.
are hid from your eyes. Same thing. Let's go back. Genesis 45. Pick it up at verse 4 again.
And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother.
I am Joseph, your brother. Read verse 5.
Now therefore, be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves that you sold me here. For Yah did send me before you to preserve life.
To do what?
To preserve life.
So he told his brothers, don't even grieve. Don't be angry at yourself. Because the Most High actually sent me here to preserve or save life. So all that stuff Hamashiach did, guess what? He did it to preserve life. All we got right here, let's get John 3:17. Go ahead.
John 3:17. For Yah sent not his son into the world to condemn the world,
He didn't send him to condemn it, but to what?
but that the world through him might be saved.
Same thing. All that stuff he went through was to bring him to this point so he can save much people alive. Let's go back. Genesis 45. Read verse 5 again.
Genesis 45 and verse 5. Now therefore, be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that you sold me here. For Yah did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years, in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And Yah sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance.
By what?
A great deliverance.
By a great deliverance. Because this is exactly what he's going to do. Read.
So now, it was not you that sent me here,
It wasn't you that sent me here, even though you think you did. Read.
but Yah. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh.
Made me what?
A father to Pharaoh,
Read.
and a master of all his house.
And a master of all of his house. Jump down to verse 24.
24. And he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, See that you fall not out by the way.
See that you fall not out by the way, because the Messiah is what?
The way.
The way. Read.
And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is the governor over all the land of Egypt.
So now imagine what his father is feeling now. He think they playing a joke. You know your daddy alive. I mean Joseph alive.
Thomas.
Read.
And told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is the governor over all the land of Egypt.
Wait a minute. He the governor over all the land of Egypt. The Messiah is alive. He the king over the whole earth. Read.
And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not.
He did what?
His heart fainted, for he believed them not.
He believed them not. Let's get, hold this. Let's get Luke 24. Pick it up at verse 6.
Luke chapter 24 and verse 6. He is not here.
He is what?
He is not here,
Read.
but is risen. Remember how he spake unto you when he was in Galilee, saying, The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men, and be crucified, and the third day rise again.
Read.
And they remembered his words, and returned from the sepulchre, and told all these things unto the 11, and to all the rest. It was Mary Magdalene, and Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and other women that were with them, which told these things unto the apostles. And their words seemed to them as idle tales.
As what?
As idle tales.
As idle tales. Read.
And they believed them not.
And they believed not. Just like Jacob can't believe it. Same thing. Let's go back. Genesis 46.
And Israel took his journey with all that he had.
Pick it up at verse 28.
46, 20.
Yep, 46 and 28.
Genesis 46 and verse 28. And he sent Judah before unto Joseph to direct his face unto Goshen. And they came into the land of Goshen. And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to meet Israel his father to Goshen and presented himself unto him. And he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. And Israel said unto Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen your face, because you are yet alive.
Why did he say that? He says, and Israel said unto Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen your face, because you are yet alive. He said, let me die. I seen your face. Remember, he told you, you ain't going to see my face. They wanted to see his face the whole time. All what we got right here, let's go to Luke 2 and 25. Luke 2 and 25. Let's see what this man say in the similitude of Jacob.
The book of Luke, chapter 2 and 25. And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon, and the same man was just and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel. And the Kodesh Spirit was upon him. And it was revealed unto him by the Kodesh Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen Hamashiach.
Wait, read that again.
And it was revealed to him by the Kodesh Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen Hamashiach.
So he ain't gonna die until he get to see the Messiah's face. Read.
And he came by the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Yahushua to do for him after the custom of the law, then took he him up in the arms and blessed Yah and said, Master, now let you your servant depart in peace according to your word.
Read.
For my eyes have seen your salvation.
For my eyes seen what?
My eyes have seen your salvation.
Now remember, Joseph saved them alive, so he was the salvation to them. So right here he says, let me die, for I have seen your face. So he told him, you ain't going to die until you see the salvation of Yah.
Shit's great.
Go back, we almost done. Genesis chapter 50.
Genesis chapter 50.
We'll pick it up at verse 15.
Genesis chapter 50 and verse 15. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will perhaps hate us and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did to him.
So they think Joseph's still going to get revenge on him. After all this time, and he could have been killed you if he wanted to. Anytime he got ready. Read.
And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Your father did command before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray you now.
Do what?
Forgive, I pray you now.
He been forgave you. He been did this. But they still operating under fear. Read.
Forgive, I pray you now, the trespass of your brethren and their sin, for they did evil unto you. And now, we pray you, forgive the trespass of the servants of Yah, your father.
And they didn't even have the guts to go to him, to his face, and tell him. They sent the messenger to do it.
Right.
How ironic. Read.
And Joseph wept, and Joseph wept when they spake to him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face.
Read.
And they said, Behold, we be your servants.
We be what?
We be your servants.
Same thing. We're going to be Mashiach's servants. Read.
And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for I am in the place of Yah.
Hold on. Read that again.
And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of Yah?
For am I in the place of Yah? Is not Hamashiach the one that come down in the place of the Most High? What verse is that?
Verse 19.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. But as for you, you thought evil against me,
You thought evil against me. Read.
but the Most High meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive.
Again, it was when he was on that thing, this is why he told them, we're going to get there. Read.
Now therefore, fear you not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly to them.
All right, stop right there. Hold that. Let's get Luke 23 and 34.
The book of Luke, chapter 23, say 34, and verse 34. Then said Hamashiach, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So they threw him in a pit, sold him off, all out of jealousy and anger and hating on him. And he turned around and spoke kindly to him and did him good. Read that verse again.
Then said Hamashiach, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Matthew 27:59.
The book of Matthew, chapter 27 and verse 59. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre.
Hold on. Go back. Read verse 60.
Verse 60. And laid it down in his new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed.
So all of this is matching what we're about to go to now. So let's go back to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis 37. Last stretch. Genesis 37 and 23.
Genesis chapter 37 and verse 23. And it come to pass, when Joseph was come in unto his brethren, they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty, there was no water in it.
So right here he says, they took Joseph, cast him into a pit, and then they say something strange. It says, and no water was in it. I wonder why. So the verse we just read showed them putting the Messiah in the tomb, right? Let's jump down to verse 29.
Verse 29. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold,
So Reuben is coming back to the pit, right? Joseph is in the pit. The last time he seen Joseph was in the pit, right? Read.
And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and rent his clothes.
So we go back. Joseph not there no more. Hold that. Well, matter of fact, let's get Matthew 28 and verse 1.
Matthew chapter 28 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the Malachim of the master descended from Shamaim, and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it.
Read.
His countenance was like lightning, his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and become as dead men. And the Malachim answered and said unto the woman, Fear not you, for I know that you seek Hamashiach, which was
I
crucified.
know you looking for a Mashiach, which was crucified. Read.
He is not here.
He was what?
He is not here.
He ain't here. Just like Joseph wasn't in the pit. Read.
For he is risen.
For he is what?
He is risen.
For he is risen. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to Zechariah chapter 9. Remember, it says that there was no water in the pit. Right? No water in the pit. Zechariah 9 and 11.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 9 and verse 11. As for you also, by the blood of your covenant.
By the blood of what?
By the blood of your covenant.
The Messiah's blood made the covenant. Read.
I have sent forth your prisoners
Joseph was a prisoner. Messiah was a prisoner. Read.
out of the pit wherein is no water.
Wherein is no water. Why does it keep saying no water in the pit? Let's find out. Last script. John 19. John 19. And 28.
The book of John, chapter 19 and verse 28. After this, Hamashiach, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, said, I thirst.
I thirst. It's no water in the pit. Oh my goodness, man. This thing is too beautiful.
Absolutely.
All that time, he said all the way back there that Joseph was put into the pit with no water. All that time, and he's showing you why no water was in there. And the Messiah is saying right here, as he about to go into the pit or the sepulcher, he says, I thirst. No water. With that, we say shalom. Any questions, comments?
That was deep. That was good.
I'm going to see that is deep. Okay. Like I said, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. That's why we was trying to skip through. We still probably went over it. I thirst.
I go ahead and say, I was trying to connect Genesis 50 and 26, when it says he died and then he was embalmed in Egypt. I was trying to make that tie to Mark 16 and Mark 16 and 1. That might be reaching a little bit.
You ain't picking that light bulb? Mark 16 and what?
And 1.
Mark chapter 16 and verse 1.
I see it.
And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome had brought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him.
Yeah, I see it. No, that's there. Go ahead, sis.
Was there any other people besides Joseph that what would that place? We have went back and forth between him and the Messiah that went through the same thing.
Yeah, every he made up of every prophet in the book. Every one of these guys, the priest, he fulfilled them as well.
The same way.
Same way. Everything. That's why he says, get that Luke. What's that? 24. Yeah, get that.
Verse 44. 44 and 45. Luke chapter 24 and verse 44. And he said unto them, These are the words which I spake to you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses.
All things must be fulfilled, which was written in the law of Moses, that go back to the first 5 books. Read.
And in the prophets.
And in the prophets. So that take you all the way through. Read.
And in the Psalms.
And in the Psalms.
Concerning me.
Concerning me. So he's showing you all of this stuff that was written in all of these books. They was concerning him in some way or another. You just got to know how to go in it and find it.
Verse 45. Verse 45. Then opened he their understanding.
Then did what?
Then opened he their understanding.
So guess what? As he was just saying this, the disciples didn't even know it until he just got it right here. That's when they finally understood.
That they might understand the scriptures.
So all of the scriptures is actually pointing to him, what's going to happen to him. That's why I tell you, get Isaiah 8. Isaiah 8 and 20.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony.
To the law and the testimony. Well, he fulfilled the whole law. He was actually the law in flesh. Read.
If they speak not according to this word.
So he says to the law and to the testimony. All of these things which we seen Joseph's story is the testimony of him. Read.
It is because there is no life in them.
So when you see people talking about that JC stuff, all that stuff made up from Horace and all that, no, we actually see his story right here in the book all the way throughout. Exactly. So all of these things was showing you what he was going to do, how he was going to come, and if they had understood all this stuff that we showing, when he came on the scene, they wouldn't have rejected him. But they didn't know, because they was expecting him to come the first time, which the church then turned completely around. They think that he came mean and nasty the first time, and when he come back, he gonna come back peaceful. It's completely reversed. He came peaceful as the lamb the first time, and when he come back, he coming back as the lion. No more games. Grace is run out. Because they don't know this side of the book. Sad to say, most Israelites don't either. That's the truth.
True story. True story.
Anybody else? Yes, we good. Amen. Sally.